Welcome back, students. Now we are moving our discussion to the benefits of Bitcoin, or how the system of Bitcoin is working at this moment. In our reading, it says Bitcoin is the first one and perhaps the most secure one of these digital currencies. And now we get other currencies like Litecoin or Ripple that's circulating in the world as well. So Thomas, why don't you share with us with the process how Bitcoin is created or circulated?
That's a good question. As a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin functions on a software platform called blockchain. And this is how most of the digital currencies are currently functioning, on blockchain software. And here's where the real story is, not so much Bitcoin, but blockchain software. That is what enables the security and the decentralization of financial transactions and any other form of transaction just about, is the blockchain technology. So how it works is like this. In order for me to transfer a Bitcoin from point A to point B, we require first to authenticate, prove that that is actually me doing the transfer and that I actually have the Bitcoin to transfer. Okay, and that's just part of it. Then as it gets transferred, nothing ever actually moves. Let's be clear. It doesn't actually move. We just changed the ledger. For example, I'm A, B. I have a ledger, my personal ledger, called a wallet, a digital wallet. B has her personal ledger called her digital wallet. I want to transfer 1 Bitcoin from A to B. Now, in order to verify that transfer, first we have to verify that I have the Bitcoin. Whereas in the past, a central banking organization would do this, giving all the control to that one bank, which was usually privately owned. Nowadays, with cryptocurrencies or digital currencies and the blockchain technology, all that verification is decentralized. So there could be, let's say, 100 other computers in various places around the world called blocks, serving to also verify, authenticate it's called, verify that, hey, I am who I am, I actually have the Bitcoin, it's in my ledger. And in order to verify or authenticate that these transactions are real, not being introduced by some hacker who's saying, hey, I have this many Bitcoins and I'm going to transfer them to you. In order to authenticate that, previously the storage of my Bitcoin, my ledger that said I have 1 Bitcoin, I had the record of that, but also all of the other blocks or computers in the chain, the block of blockchain, would have an identical record as what I have as A and what she has as B. Therefore, when I say, hey, I want to transfer a Bitcoin A to B, first it goes to all those other blocks to check that their record of me having that Bitcoin is the same. And they come back and say, yes, it is the same. And then I say, okay, I'm transferring it to B. Nothing gets transferred, actually, we just change the record. So now the record, or ledger as it's called, gets changed to saying that whereas A had Bitcoin 0056134567898 before, now B has that exact same Bitcoin and it's like a serial number on there, on record as owning that. So nothing actually moves, we just change the record, add another line to the record.
And I think, Thomas, you have pointed to one really standing out benefit for Bitcoin, because some of our students may face a problem when they are trying to open a bank account.
Right.
We need to show them some IDs to open a bank account. It usually takes forever. We need to stand in lines at banks to open our account.
Right.
Then regarding the transaction, we discussed about the verifying process. It's also the problem. And I recently read a report about there are 3 groups of people who like to use Bitcoin to purchase or to transfer money in Taiwan. And guess who they are? The first group is the investors, because they want to make some money through Bitcoin, this new currency. And the second group would be, guess what? Like you, students who are probably 18 or less than 18. So you're not legal to open a bank account. When you try to open an account, perhaps that should be an account that open with your parents as well. So now lots of people are doing lots of games. They need to purchase some points online, and they don't have a bank account and they don't have a credit card. So they will use Bitcoin. So with that, they can purchase games, all the points for online games, again through computers. So they can go on with the games they are interested to purchase. That's the second group. And the third group, guess who they are? They are the migrant workers. So they usually have problem to transfer money back to their hometown countries. And well, it's still not popular in Taiwan, but like in the States or in other countries, they used to use something called Western Union to transfer the money. Now with Bitcoin, well, as long as the receivers, their families at hometown has computer, they can transfer the money without much trouble or effort going to a place called Western Union to transfer the money from one place to the other.
Right, the costs are lower, and this is another one of the benefits. It's open to everybody. All you need to do is establish what's called a digital wallet online, and that gives you a unique identifier, let's call it, for that wallet, but it doesn't have to be associated with your name or anything else. So in many ways, you can transfer money, make financial transactions without using your name. This doesn't mean that people won't see the transactions, but it does mean that people may not know who's behind that transaction. And there are good things and bad things about this. And I might add one final group of people who really appreciate Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are international criminal organizations, because it gives them, it's no cash, instantaneous abilities to transfer money, or we could call it money, transfer currency all around the world anonymously.
So here are some benefits and drawbacks of Bitcoin. So like the examples I just gave about the benefits of Bitcoin, there was another news report talking about a high school student who earned money through mining this Bitcoin and get his tuitions for study 4 years at New York University. Pretty expensive, but he made it by mining Bitcoin and earning Bitcoin. So Thomas, would you like to share with us about the mining process of Bitcoin?
Yes, and this will probably fall under some of the drawbacks associated with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. In order to, for anyone can become, for example, a block. Anyone can participate in the Bitcoin revolution, let's call it, and say, hey, I want to also mine Bitcoin. When you become one of the computers that serve to authenticate or verify transactions, you also automatically become a miner. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, and therefore, in order for the computers to authenticate the information, my information, her information, they have to do complicated mathematical equations. And this is what cryptology is all about. The encryption requires that the computers do complicated mathematical equations, which is basically like finding a sequence of numbers in 250 numbers, let's say. That's called 250-bit encryption. And these computers will verify that I am actually who I say I am by figuring out, guessing in most cases, a correct sequence of numbers that I also have on me. The problem with this, and once they do it, whoever first in the chain, whoever is first in the chain gets rewarded. Whoever solves this mathematical equation gets rewarded with a Bitcoin or a fraction of Bitcoin. That is their incentive to become one of the blocks participating in the decentralization of cryptocurrencies. However, there are some serious downfalls to this part of the process, the mining of cryptocurrencies. A lot of people have gotten rich doing it. Many people have gotten rich doing it. And we should talk about this perhaps in our next discussion, many people are also warning that this could lead to a total collapse of human civilization and the complete destruction of Earth and our environment.
As Thomas mentioned, the process of getting the newly received Bitcoin is really complicated. Yeah. And you think you get the computer operating to do the mining, to be the first one to win the competition, to get the Bitcoin. But try to imagine the situation. You need to have the computer system operating, and that requires electricity and stable internet connection. So they use lots of energy trying to get this process going on. And nowadays, when we visit some website, they share some videos on this website. Sometimes there's even a message popping up. Can I use some parts of your internet connection to do the mining? So I wonder if some of you had this experience or not, because it's really problematic from my perspective. Of course, whoa, then somebody's using my internet to do this, and should I authorize others to use my internet address for this right purpose? That's, my concern.
These are some of the downfalls of cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, that perhaps we can discuss in our next discussion.
In this section, we mentioned several benefits or several groups of people who would like to use Bitcoin. Now, referring to our two questions in this section, I would like to ask you, I mentioned 3 particular group of people would like to use Bitcoin in Taiwan? Who are they? That's my question.
And my question is, why do you think criminal organizations, especially international criminal organizations, prefer to use Bitcoin as a method of transacting?
That's our second section. Thank you for being with us again.
Thank you.